on Rooted, we are meeting with Moe Hemmings, who is the Director of Community Outreach with the Atlanta Botanical Garden. And she does so many cool things connecting gardening and agriculture to the community, and especially in an urban setting, which is so cool. You might have the best job in the world, Moe.
Thanks, I think so.
So we got a lot to talk about today, and we're going to cover a lot of really cool subjects. And first, I want to talk about fruit. You know, when we think about gardening in tough spaces, you know, oftentimes it's a container where we make an attempt at a tomato or some herbs. Fruit seems like it might be a little more daunting because many of them take a lot more space, but you've obviously been very successful with them. I want to talk about some of the fruits that you grow here at the 5 Points Farm Community Garden, and which ones you think are particularly well suited for this environment.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a couple that really come to mind. Some of them are here and some of them are not. One of the first ones that kind of come to mind that people never think about are blueberries. Blueberries are awesome because a lot of them are self-pollinating, so you don't need a mate. You can put a single or one in a container. They have varieties that are definitely called dwarf varieties, so smaller. Like one I really love is called Pink Lemonade, which is awesome because it's a pink blueberry. Mind blown. That's one of my favorite ones. And then for ones that people are more familiar with, like your rabbit eye blueberries, those actually take really good pruning. So you can even prune them to keep them in a shape if you only have them in a single container. And because blueberries grow up the way they do, they're open, you can underplant them with other things. So they're really great for companion planting if you want to pop herbs in there, anything that maybe doesn't need direct sunlight and can handle some like dapple sun. In these pots, though, we do have a couple of really cool ones. A fig tree, specifically. One of those things that people love figs and they want to grow with them, and then they're like, oh man, when you think fig, you think fig tree. Again, something else that can take pruning, can handle being in a contained space. Once it's established, you've got production going on and on. The only thing you really have to worry about, squirrels.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Once your figs start to ripen, they're like, yes, us too.
I noticed behind you, you've got strawberries going, and of course, strawberries are a classic in containers. In fact, strawberries have their own container, the strawberry pot. It's a fairly easy plant to grow. It spreads rhizomously, and so it doesn't take that many plants before you can have a really, really nice bed.
Yeah, a lovely patch. And if, again, going back to underplanting for that blueberry, strawberries would be a great one because then you also get that nice trailing over. And it's one of those plants that you can definitely share with your friends because, again, that rhizomous growth, it just keeps going and going and going. I will say when you're growing strawberries in containers, it's really helpful after about a year or two, once it's gotten a really dense patch, to go ahead and divide that, because what happens is it'll crowd out itself and then you'll start having a ton of green growth and not strawberries. And if you're growing fruits in a container, you want the fruit of your labor.
I'll tell you, one that I tried in containers a few years ago, which actually was pretty successful, was Amelanchier, which is the native service berry. It's actually one of my favorite fruits. We don't see it in grocery stores. To me, it's like a cross between like a tart raspberry, blueberry kind of thing. It's a pretty tough plant.
I mean, it is native, so that's helpful. You know that it can grow well here. But it is a really heavy fruiter. It doesn't take very long to get established. Of course, if you're planting any kind of fruiting tree like the Amelanchier, you want to get it in the spring before it's really put out any new growth and really started focusing on fruiting and flowering. So that's an important time, and that doesn't matter if you're putting it in ground or in a container.
Right.
Yeah. You want to kind of get it settled and ready for the upcoming fruiting season.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, see, you've got another really neat, this is another great native, the Sambucus. How was this done for you from a fruiting standpoint in containers?
You know, it's taken a little bit to get established, to really start putting out the fruit. And you can see we have one that's kind of gotten its fruiting going a little tiny. This actually took a hit last winter. That's one of the things that you gotta be mindful of, is making sure the soil temperatures in the winter time keeps that root growing and healthy and happy. You'll be surprised how insular mulching with something like newspaper, cardboard, things that you might have at home, especially in a container, can do for you. And you want to do something like that because it helps with more of the natural side, and you're less likely to have any pest issues. Sometimes if you try to mulch in a container with something like pine straw, for example, you can bump up the nitrogen levels of your plants. And or you can have little itty bitty bugs that, baled pine straw can sometimes come with. So something like your newspaper or cardboard will give you that nice insulation, and it's kind of plentiful. So really easy thing you can do to give that warmth to your pots and your containers.
Mo, are there any other like super cool fruits that you've tried, or ones that you just think any gardener should give a shot?
Actually, it's over here too. It's the pineapple guava. Pineapple guava is evergreen here. It's amazing. You can eat the flowers as well as the forthcoming fruit. So you want to be a little careful about eating too many of the flowers,
right,
or you won't get
it's like
the
your
fruit.
Squash blossoms.
Right, exactly,
Some.
exactly. And with the pineapple guava, again, it can take pruning. I've seen people use them as hedges.
Right,
so that's
right.
a really cool thing about it. So it's really good about that. Heavy flower. The fruit kind of looks size-wise like a large grape, small plum, more elongated. The whole inside, seeds and all, really good tart, sweet flavor. You get the name pineapple guava because those are the two flavor profiles that kind of come to mind when you're eating it. So that's another really cool one that I think more people should be growing. And when I discovered it, my whole edible, like, fruiting tree game changed.
That's amazing. We got us super excited about fruits, Mo. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
No worries, thanks.